From Los Angeles to a worldwide audience, this is Boaz Power TV, where we take your life to the next level. Now, internationally known speaker and author, here's Boaz.
Hi, welcome to the Power Show. You are part of the Power Nation, and I'm so delighted that you're here. As here we help you to improve your attitude, your relationships, your finances, and your career as we take your life to the next level. So when people ask you, how's everything? Use one word I teach in seminars all over the world with enthusiasm: unbelievable. Nobody will know what you're up to, but they'll think you're doing great. And then you also, for an attitude adjustment, might want to make the sign that's on my other side on the wall. Every day I play like a champion. Put it on bright yellow paper, post it at home, at work, all over the place, and just touch it every day. High five. Every day I play like a champion. And that's how I see you. You are a champion. So this is Boaz Power TV, episode number 164. I call this one Eenie, Meanie, Miny, Mo. Sometimes someone comes into our lives and touches it in a very special way. On a speaking trip sometime back to Florida, I met several special people plus one amazing reptile. My saga began on a Thursday evening as I flew into Fort Lauderdale's airport. The next morning's seminar was to be in Stuart, Florida, about 80 miles north of that airport. It was 9:58 p.m. as I approached Boca Raton on the way to Stuart. Now, after a day of travel, I was tired and very hungry. I decided to stop at a nice restaurant, and it was called Pete's. When I walked in the front door, I asked the hostess if it was possible to order dinner. The first answer was no, as she related that the kitchen was being cleaned up. They stopped serving at 10 p.m. I told you it was 9:58. I noticed a man in a white chef's hat and apron standing nearby. He heard our conversation and quietly said to the hostess, I've got a beautiful piece of prime rib for this nice man. Hello? The manager of the restaurant witnessed all that had transpired and asked if that would be satisfactory. I was pleasantly surprised and said, absolutely, yes. He sat me at the bar, where a very warm and hospitable bartender named Jody proceeded to serve me royally. Here I was, a perfect stranger, being treated as if I was an honored guest during the middle of the dinner hour, and yet there was closing time. These people all went the extra mile to make me feel important. Now, the next day following my seminar in Stuart, I had arranged to fly to Key West, Florida for the weekend. In order to catch the only flight available, I had to drive across the state of Florida to Naples. All other flights that day had been sold out due to a holiday weekend, so I had to go all the way across the state. The distance from Stuart, if you've not driven it, through a stretch of road called Alligator Alley was about 180 miles. I had less than 3 hours to make that drive and knew that my chances of missing the flight were great. My ticket was on Cape Air, a small airline consisting of 10 passenger planes. The time passed by quickly and traffic seemed heavier than I expected. I called the 800 number for Cape Air to let them know that I was running very tight for the 3:35 p.m. departure to Key West. I brought my rental car to a screeching halt in front of the small Naples, Florida airport terminal at exactly 3:30 that afternoon. I jumped out of the car, ran into the terminal, and that's where I found the nicest ticket agent I have ever met. Realizing my dilemma, he said, everything's handled. Just leave the rental car nearby and bring in your bags. What? I know! Traveling all over the world for speaking engagements, I'm used to major airports with major challenges to get from the car to boarding a plane. Things were different at the Naples airport, and especially with Cape Air. A man named John, apparently the one in charge of all Cape Air activities at that airport, went way beyond the call of duty. You know what he did? It was amazing. Held the plane for me and actually returned my rental car. Once again, here was a perfect stranger making me feel important. 3 days later, I met yet another amazing man in Florida. I'd scheduled an airboat ride in the Everglades with Captain Randy. Ever been on an airboat? If you haven't, you got to go. Florida. It's like flying. It's incredible in the Everglades. So my appointment was with Captain Randy. A drive of about 30 miles west of Fort Lauderdale led me to an off-ramp where the captain and his powerful airboat waited for me. Now, as we took off into a whole new world of water, flora, fauna, and creatures, Captain Randy told me his story. It was his grandfather who taught him the lessons and geography of the Everglades. His grandfather taught him about teamwork, camaraderie, and a deep, abiding respect for nature. Captain Randy obviously had that. So as we headed for a remote camp area where we would meet Mo, Randy told me about the type of people who made the Everglades their home. I wouldn't trust any of these guys with $5, said Randy, but I would trust them with my life. Whoa. Captain Randy's airboat was powered by a huge Corvette engine and could literally fly on top of the water at up to 70 miles an hour. Now, as this noisy and fast craft maneuvered through the tall grasses, we began to spot a number of alligators and a variety of waterfowl. Nothing could have prepared me for what I was about to witness next. Coming around one bend, there suddenly appeared a small lagoon with a couple of shacks on stilts. Randy pulled the boat up to the dock and said, "There's Mo." Mo, to my surprise, turned out to be a 10-foot female alligator that Captain Randy had befriended and grown to love. Wow! He called her to the dock, and she immediately swam over. I witnessed this barrel-chested man's man become very tender with this huge man-eating beast. Captain Randy got down on the deck and began to pet Mo's back. I know. For the next 15-20 minutes, she never left the dock, allowing Randy to pet her numerous times. I felt so privileged to see this amazing display of unconditional love. Randy allowed me into his private world. Here was yet another stranger who not only made me feel welcome and important, but he did the same for what is normally a very dangerous animal. Everyone that I met and came in contact with, everyone you and I meet, including ourselves, we all have 4 initials on our foreheads. MMFI. MMFI. Those stand for Make Me Feel Important. We all want to feel important. A number of special people during that Florida weekend made me feel very important. Who in the world could stand to feel important today? Who should you make feel important today? So, the affirmation for this episode of Boaz Power TV, it's a feel important affirmation. You may want to write it down. I take the time to make someone feel important every day. I take the time to make someone feel important every day. And let me tell you clearly, you are important to me. Without you watching my program, I would not have a program. And if you like these messages, and many people around the world do, please do me a favor. Send it to 5 people you know. Suggest they go to my website, boazpower.com, and they can also subscribe to the free weekly broadcast of Boaz Power TV. And when they get a great idea, won't you have made them feel important? Absolutely. You are important. You are special. You are unique. You are destined for greatness. I see it in you. You are a champion. Have a powerful day.
This has been Boaz Power TV. To comment, see other episodes, or to subscribe to this free broadcast, go to our blog at boazpower.com. That's boazpower.com. We're here to take your life to the next level.